Hello and welcome everyone to our 80-second session of HalloCasa. My name is Michael and today I'm talking to Daniel Zeledon from San José in Costa Rica. Daniel is a commercial real estate professional and investment advisor with over 10 years of experience in commercial real estate and previous experience in companies such as Walmart, Collier International and Improsa Real Estate Investment Fund. Daniel, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for your time. Talk about San Jose, Costa Rica, and especially right now, the situation with COVID. First of all, give us a quick intro of who you are and what you're right now dedicating yourself to.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm very happy to be sharing this time with you and talking about real estate and some other things as well. Well,
Perfect.
This year definitely has been something, I think, for everybody around the globe. Costa Rica, of course, is not the exception. I think, first of all, when news is starting getting from all around the world, from China, from Europe, about closures, about restrictions, that provoke a sense of anxiety and restlessness in Costa Rica's population.
Yeah.
We never experienced this before, and definitely it was a challenge for all of us to maintain calm, to be calm, to be ready for what was going to happen in the later months of the year. And well, definitely was a challenge for all of us at the beginning.
Right now we are almost ending 2020. COVID has impacted right now the real estate market tremendously. Last week I talked to Teresa from San Francisco. She says people are flocking out of the city. First of all, COVID in general, how has it impacted the real estate market in San Jose? Has it also happened that people are leaving San Jose and moving to the outskirts, and people from the outskirts, they just even decided to leave to a totally different department to be more off-grid and maybe being somewhere else where there's more space and less people?
That's a great question, Michael. I think that's a great point to highlight. Actually, in order to introduce people watching us to the framework surrounding Costa Rica, we call it San Jose. That's right, that's the capital of the country, but we call it the greater metropolitan area, which encompasses several other states, so to speak, provinces, actually. For example, Alajuela, Heredia, and Cartago. And they contain a lot of real estate, important real estate operations for the country. So definitely it was a great hit that we took this at the beginning of the year. We have seen an historic unemployment rate this year of around 25%, which is something very hard to take. We're dealing with as of now. Also, what you mentioned it is correct. We have seen a lot of implementation from a lot of companies, even public institutions, government institutions, on allowing associates and collaborators work from home. And I think that's a milestone. That's a positive outcome from all this situation. Because it's been years that we've been hearing about developed countries and big companies around the world implementing work from home policies and benefits their associates, and Costa Rica is always a little bit behind on this, right? And this year it gave employers no other option but to implement it because it wasn't any other way. So I think that's a milestone. A lot of people lose this fear of allowing associates working from home, about their productivity as well. And I think that's something to highlight as well.
Do you see any dynamics concerning people choosing where to live? do you see any, you're focused on commercial real estate, which means like industrial, office space, and retail. But before we come to that, to your expertise, just housing market, maybe also quickly residential. Do you see when you talk to people on the street in San Jose in Costa Rica saying, hey, I'm going to the rural area right now because I'm gonna go I'm gonna see a house, I'm gonna see if I want to move there, or do people or tend people to stay in San Jose and say, no, I need to be there because it's just like the nucleus of the workforce, of the economy in San Jose? What's the feeling there?
Right. What I'm seeing is a lot of people doing moving around the country, booking hotels and booking Airbnbs and so on, and working, for example, working from Thursday till Sunday on the beach, on the coast, because privileged by its nature and its biodiversity. So I'm seeing that, especially on millennials generation and a little bit of Generation Z, which are already in the labor force, but not actually making the decision of moving outside the city, but to making a balance between, I can work remotely, we have a beautiful country, I cannot travel. People in Costa Rica are very used to travel. We travel a lot, all the time, and that's something not happening right now for most of the people. So what I'm seeing is a balance. They're trying to balance their lifestyles, and as I said, people are maybe spending 2, even 3 full weekends, even from Thursday to Sunday, on beautiful places, on the mountain, on the beach, working completely remotely, but not moving out of their homes in the greater metropolitan area.
Got it. One quick question concerning that one. Wi-Fi connection, 4G. What for connectivity do you have there? If someone says like, I really want to like go to the beach and work there or in the mountain, is it really doable, or is it? I know that from Europe, once you go a little bit rural, especially in Germany, and sometimes there you don't even need to go rural, you lose connection. How's the telephony infrastructure there?
Yeah, sure. Well, our network is based on 4G technology. It works pretty decently, I would say. But one funny thing is that, especially because I'm one of the people who likes to, as much as possible, to work from home or work remotely, so to speak. And we always there's been a complaint for the last couple of years that internet rates, both home and mobile, were a little bit uppriced. And I think internet providers had improved their pricing strategies this year, which is another, I would say, collateral good positive outcome from this situation.
Got it. Perfect. We saw recent news, and you mentioned that to me prior to our call, that entering, or international people entering Costa Rica right now don't necessarily need a negative PCR test, like a negative COVID test. Give us maybe you can give us a quick overview on that one. What does that entail exactly?
Yeah, no, that is correct. What you said. Very recently, actually, the government made the announcement, and this was, the main purpose behind the announcement was to give the economy a push, right, to reactivate the economy. So especially tourism, which is one of the main activities supporting our gross domestic product. So very recently, the government made the announcement on the media that effective October 26th, it will be no longer a requisite for people entering the country via air to present a negative PCR test. So this is a way to incentive people to come here and what you said before, to work from home, to work from the beach, to work from the mountain, made a little bit of ecotourism, during the weekend and balance their lifestyle.
Yeah, and especially like when you're from the US, you can already go back and spend your Christmas holiday and do something also, do something good for Costa Rica, given that you obviously don't bring COVID into the country, obviously. Back to your expertise on commercial. Give us an overview of, first of all, what entails commercial real estate. Sometimes people are only talking about office space. Sometimes people talking or thinking only about retail. What does it exactly like contain, and where's your expertise there?
Sure. Well, commercial real estate encompasses, at least from a conceptual perspective, encompasses all types of real estate that are not residential ones. So we have very commonly used classification of the commercial real estate market between industrial market, between the office market, as you said, and between retail market. There are another few, let's call categories for another specific markets within commercial real estate, such as hospitality, for example. But they tend to be a little bit more specialized, and professionals in those markets tend to be a little bit more sophisticated.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I remember one conversation I had with Arcesio saying that was at the beginning of COVID, and he's from Bogota, and he said, what we see is a conversion of a lot of retail stores becoming bodegas, becoming industrial or room or space to make sure that it's going to be converted into a warehouse. Do you also, especially given Costa Rica being such a hub for international trade, do you also see that in Costa Rica along San Jose, or is it hasn't that come to take into hasn't that really materialized yet?
Yeah, well, definitely. I totally agree with you and what he said. I have seen that trend in several other countries, even Latin America countries. I will say that in Costa Rica specifically, that hasn't materialized yet, such. But definitely, it's a conversation going on about it. I will add something entering into the industrial market, specifically into the industrial market. I would say that industrial commercial real estate is compared especially with the office and especially with retail markets, one of the less impacted markets in the country. So definitely, I think both developers, private investors holding real estate assets, real estate investment funds are having this conversation, and also retailers, because it is impacting both sides.
Why would you say that hasn't had such a huge impact? Because I see that from what I see in different countries is that, okay, it's on hold right now. Like commercial hasn't just moved a lot. Like, okay, there's a lot of restaurants and office space and stuff. They still need to make sure that they can pay the rent. But in fact, like there's not a lot of movement. It's not really hot right now. Do you think it's the only reason, or do you also think that it's going to change drastically as soon as we see a tendency towards one certain direction, and that I don't know, like people will end their leases, companies will change location? Where do you see there the outlook, especially with respect to industrial real estate?
Yeah, there's something important of what you mentioned before. People tend to wait and to see what is happening in other markets, in other countries, especially in developed countries, in order to take decisions. So I think that's what might be happening right now. People are waiting. People are, of course, having this conversation as well and looking for options. I think there are companies already ahead on planning, not only 2021 but also 2022. And definitely, that's something that I don't like to talk much, which is the scientific perspective of the situation. That's for experts on that area. But definitely, we all are waiting for at least 2022 to get back to certain normality. So I think people are mostly waiting to take the most efficient decision from a capital expense perspective. One thing that I would like to add that in order to illustrate what is going on, it's always within the indicators in an industry, the vacancy rate, it always tells you a lot about what's going on any given market, on any given country in the world. Right now, vacancy rate for industrial market in Costa Rica is around 8%, more or less. That's still an acceptable indicator for the market, the country. It used to be below that, between 5-6% a couple of years ago, but 8% is still manageable. So I think that's one of the reasons people are still waiting for things to come up and take decisions.
Totally. While the office space is a little bit higher, obviously, you have like a vacancy rate of, you put that before our call, you put it between like 18%, which is a little bit higher than average. Do you think that this will, and I have talked recently to one person, he mentioned there are even office spaces, even pre-COVID, which have an occupancy rate of, let's say, 40%, because they're just renting out huge amount of office spaces, but seriously, like, not managed at all and not deliberately thought of how much in total you need, because it's just not well managed. Do you think that there's also a new maybe consciousness about, okay, how much do we in fact need? And also how much can we reduce our costs, which will then in turn obviously also reduce the retail prices, because retail space will on an absolute value increase even though you don't even build new office spaces. Do you think this will have a double impact on the office spaces in a negative way?
Yeah, office space. There are certain points that you mentioned on that question that must be addressed. First of all, as you said, vacancy rate is a little bit higher than expected, and that is a conversation as well among developers and people holding that kind of real estate assets. Definitely, there is when you go and check into webinars or talk to foreign experts who are overseeing trends around the globe, you see something very interesting, and people are very aware in Costa Rica of that. Big companies such as the Amazons, Walmarts, the Alphabets, the Microsofts, the Facebooks, are talking about allowing, and we're talking, the scenario is already post-pandemic, when almost everything is going to be, let's say, normal. They're going to allow and to promote their associates to work from home more than before. Let's just say, for example, in Costa Rica, it was seen as a benefit to allow people to work 1 day per week from home or remotely. Of course, now in this moment, it's very often to see people working Monday through Friday for at least 4 days remotely. But after everything comes to into normality, we're seeing a trend of big companies stating that they're going to keep allowing people working from home 3, 4, even 5 days a week. So that's something that the rest of the market, the rest of the companies might tend to imitate as the time goes by, and that's going to definitely affect this market. From a personal perspective, Michael, I really don't think, and this comes from talks that I held last couple of months, from a lot of articles I've been reading and interviews that I've been seeing on the news. I don't think the office space is going to disappear completely, as some people have stated. Yeah, it's true. Technology is making a huge impact on on the dynamics of people going into an office space. But definitely there is a need for companies to have certain internal dynamics, or people from certain areas, from different areas actually, of the same company, intertwined, working together on a constant or in a frequent basis. And that is going to require still a need for corporate spaces, well adequated for new circumstances. So yeah, I totally agree. It's going to be a reduction of the office space footprint. It's going to be gradually. First, going to be huge players as ones that already mentioned, but then very quickly, I think other companies are going to realize the benefits from doing so, especially on their budgets, which are already being impacted because of the contraction, global contraction during right now. So I don't think the office space is going to disappear at all, as some are stating right now.
Yeah, it's super interesting, and I think we can be. Well, I'm looking forward to see what's going on and how everyone is like going to readjust again. I see on one hand there's definitely a very nice incentive for companies, saying that their EBIT has increased tremendously because they don't have that much of spend, because they just don't need that much of office spaces, not that much of desks and wheel and chairs. But then on the other hand, it's also the question on reduction of productivity. However, I think this is not as much an impact as a lot of people might have thought before. People tend to be more productive. They tend to work maybe 1 more hour net per day, while also gaining another 2 hours not commuting, because you're just working a little bit longer and you're just a little bit longer stuck in front of your laptop. What I personally see is that I really like the office space once in a while. I think like after 3 days at home, I'm just feeling like getting a little bit crazy. I need to get out. I need to have like a certain daily routine to just walk to the office to have something. Even though I'm totally less productive than working at home. But totally curious of how this turns out, and how we're going to evolve as a workforce. Coming back a little bit, or coming to the next question concerning retail. We now talked about industrial, including the warehouses, now office spaces, and now retail. Situation in Costa Rica and San José, how has that developed within the last 10 months?
Well, that's a sad story, I will say. I had the opportunity. I've been doing it for a while to walk the central part of the capital of San Jose, and also I've been visiting certain big commercial projects, what we call malls, and well, it's even though even though government has eased on restrictions for a while now, and I gotta say, when you look at other countries, the kind of restrictions they had, I think Costa Rica took it pretty well, actually. We haven't seen a completely shut down. I mean, and that's positive. In order to find some good aspects of this whole situation. But as I was saying, when you walk down the street and places where you knew there were hot zones for retailers to sell, and now the stores are almost empty almost all the time, and some people are going into malls to walk to buy an ice cream or something like that, but you are not seeing you don't see the commercial transactions move as it used to be. So that tells you a lot. Also, we have been hearing about a lot of retailers renegotiating terms with their landlords. I think that's a global trend right now. And
where do you see, if you could talk to a certain investor, foreign or domestic, Costa Rica, do you have any tips, any ideas which you would say, okay, if I were you, if you have, I don't know, $50,000, 50, or $100,000 or $20,000, you can maybe work with a bank and get a mortgage for something you're interested into buying. Is there anything you would consider buying? Would you say no, just hold, just wait, we're uncertain still? What's your opinion there? What would you advise?
Yeah, no, I understand. Definitely, I think there is a trend that everyone can see right now, which is build or strengthen your digital strategy right now. Now, there are some retailers that have experienced a change on their sales structure, passing from 25% of their sales through digital online channels up to 60, 50, 60, wow, even 70, 75%. Yeah, that's a lot. Of course, and I think it's important to be balanced on the opinions you give. I think you have to understand the current circumstances surrounding the retail market, and of course, it might happen that after we gain certain normality on our daily routines, there might be a rebound effect. I have read and heard from certain global experts about it, and it might happen that people wants to go out. People wants to take dinner outside. People wants to meet together to have a couple of drinks after work, even though they're working in their homes. Or people wants to go out to certain, outside of the city on their weekends. So I think that experience that certain retail and commercial projects offer is not going to disappear at all.
And do you see any deals right now listed, and you say, okay, wow, this this price has reduced, I don't know, like by 30% within the last 10 months. What's the price? What's the price tendency right now in commercial real estate, and maybe especially like retail right now? How much has it decreased?
I gotta be honest, Michael. To have very accurate data about retail is always a challenge.
Got it.
Because it encompasses a lot of transactions. A lot.
No, I got it. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, retail encompasses a lot of transactions. We're talking about huge retailers such as Walmart, and then also you have the mini markets. Clothing stores, technology stores, and so I will be I'll be lacking of an accurate number to give you to answer that question. What I will say is definitely there is the highest vacancy rate of any given market in commercial real estate is related to retail market. Pricings are falling right now, falling down right now, and once again, as we stated on the overview of the office market, it comes to a lot of negotiation between landlords and tenants, the conditions and the exceptions, and new structures. For example, some landlords are starting to accept terms of okay, instead of paying me a fixed rate, fixed leasing amount on a monthly basis, let's make it let's base it on your sales. And that also
nice.
yeah, exactly, that also requires retailers to provide a little bit more of transparency in their operation. So that kind of stuff is what is happening right now in order for landlords to not have higher vacancy rates, to retailers to still have a place, a brand to consistently serve their customers in the different places they are already located. But also, and that was the idea that I was talking about before, it is critical for retailers to start building and investing on their digital channels. A lot of transactions are moving into digital, into online channels right now. And if you do not take the opportunity right now, yeah, it might. I mean, it might be hard for you to catch up later when things might stabilize for most of the retailers. So definitely there is an opportunity on to invest your money, the money you have on digital channels. Also, that leads to the very popular concept of omni-channel strategy, which is because some people still think that serving customers through digital channels requires them to open a social network account and to use platforms such as Uber Eats. For example, in Costa Rica, two of the most popular platforms that we have right now are Uber Eats Global, which is a Spanish company, and Rappi, which is a Colombian company. And some people think that that's it, right? I'm offering my products, my services on these platforms, and people will come to me and buy the stuff I'm selling. But that's not it. If you already had a strategy to serve customers on a physical manner, you have to keep it, and you have to maintain the same levels of service and quality, and how quickly can you give the customers the product, because it's always about that, about how quickly can I have what I want in my terms, in the best comfortable circumstances for me as a customer. So retailers need to have the mindset that I was good serving customers on face-to-face way, I have to do it just as equal through digital channels.
That's true, totally. Embracing it, and then also making sure that you're just taking this one as a tool in order to serve the customer better, and not to take it as a means to an end. Daniel, your last 2 cents to the audience, to the people who are listening. Give us your maybe your advice for someone who might be interested right now in Costa Rica reopening, hopefully reopening for the better, and any good suggestions for someone who might right now be interested in Costa Rica?
Yeah, well, I could say that Costa Rica has always been very popular among big companies or big companies like Walmart, for example, like Amazon, like IBM, Intel, to take part of their operations and bringing them into the country. And also a lot of sophisticated foreign investors had put their money into real estate assets, Costa Rica. Basically, that had happened because of certain factors surrounding the country, and I might say also historical factors. For example, we are very well known in the world because of our stability, our democracy, and our safety. And I think those three factors encompasses a lot of what investors are looking for when deciding to where to put their money. For example, I was reading, and this is this information totally public. I was reading on the internet that on the stability ranking, Costa Rica is ranked second in Latin America, just behind Uruguay. Also, on the democracy index, Costa Rica's ranked second as well. And on safety, Rica, actually San Jose, which is the capital, is ranked second behind Santiago de Chile. And as I said, investors really prioritize this kind of information while in their decision-making process. And that's what I will say. Costa Rica also, before I forgot, and this is especially for big companies, as the ones I mentioned before, we have we have a lot of incentives actually for companies to bring operations into Costa Rica. We have incentives within the free trade zone spaces. We have a lot of offer available for companies to come up and bring their business to us, and I think that's a good sign for investors to consider Costa Rica as a real and safe and stable place to put their money into.
Perfect. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for all the insights. How can people contact you if they're interested to reach out to you?
Sure. Well, they can go into HalloCasa.com and they can check out my profile, my personal email, my phone numbers are listed. Also, they can look me up on LinkedIn by my personal name, Daniel Zeledon. And well, I'll be happy to talk to you and to provide any kind of support or guidance. It's in my will to do it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll put the links into the description. And Daniel, I wish you all the best. Let's hope that this is the start for hopefully for the reopening, and that the vaccination is coming soon, and that we're gonna be safe, and that we're gonna have a reboost and a reboot of the economy. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all the insights you gave us about commercial real estate, and especially like industrial, the office space and the retail. Thank you so much for giving us an overview of how has everything evolved within the last 10 months. Thank you so much, Daniel. I wish you a very nice afternoon, and we talk soon.
Thank you for the invitation. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.